In 1994, the Šiauliai district was a calm and peaceful place to live. Stasys, at the age of 81, had created a truly cozy home. Of course, there was always something to do around the house, but at his age, he had learned to enjoy life, not just constantly work. Stasys took care of the animals, and when his wife Bronnie called him for dinner, he didn't even notice how fast time passed. The dinner was as delicious as always. After so many years together, Bronnie had learned to cook perfect meals out of anything. Looking around his house, Stasys thought, it's good that she knows how to cook with whatever we have, because we don't have that much, but we must appreciate what we have. After finishing his meal, he prepared to go to bed. His wife would finish cleaning and come to sleep with him soon. Finally, a good rest and a soft bed. But this rest didn't last long. Stasys was awakened by a loud knock on the door, followed by a strong banging. What could it be? Turning around, he saw his wife laying next to him, but the banging continued and grew louder. Through the door, Stasys heard the drunken man's voice, shouting and demanding something, but due to his age and the chaos, it was hard for Stasys to understand what was being said. The man got angrier and angrier, started pounding on the door, demanding to be shown some way, asking questions to which Stasys didn't know the answers. Bronnie came out of the bedroom, and fear was visible on her face.
Don't worry, dear. It's just a drunk. He'll get tired and leave soon,
said Stasys. He approached the door and demanded,
Sorry, I'm not sure what do you want, but maybe you should stop banging and just leave?
Stasys thought that would be enough, but the knocking only grew stronger.
I have a gun,
Stasys almost shouted. It was no longer funny. At this age, Stasys knew he wouldn't stand much of a chance in a fight. But instead of leaving, the man outside got even angrier, started walking around the house, smashing windows and looking for a way to get inside. Stasys couldn't understand. He had asked the man to leave. He didn't know him, and yet it seemed like the man was determined to break in and probably hurt them. But Stasys wasn't lying. He really did have a rifle, and despite his fear, he picked it up, his hands trembling, while Bronnie hid in the corner of the bedroom. The man came back to the door, now trying to force his way in with all of his strength. Stasys, gripped by fear, but having been a deeply religious man all his life, made a decision. He didn't want to take the life of a young drunk man that night. So he carefully aimed the rifle and, despite his shaking hands, fired at the door, trying not to hit the man standing behind it. Just scare him.
Even bears run away after shots like that,
Stasys thought, hoping the man would retreat and leave them alone. But the man wasn't an animal. He was a monster. And this warning shot became the breaking point. The man started pulling at the door, and now, as Stasys fired through it, he realized he had made a terrible mistake. He had damaged the door frame, and now the monster on the other side could use that and get inside. Stasys had to reload his rifle. Although he had been relatively calm at first, now fear had taken over, and his hands began to shake uncontrollably. He tried to grab the shells from the table. Stasys had no real chance of resisting. Even though the man was drunk, he was half Stasys' age and in a much better shape. In an instant, Stasys felt a blow and ended up on the floor, but the man's fury only grew. He took the rifle away from Stasys, and although Stasys didn't get up from the floor, the man began smashing Stasys' head with the end of the rifle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. After the 7th blow, Stasys was already dead. His head no longer resembled that of a human. Bronnie watched this gruesome execution, desperately screaming and hitting the monster with all of her strength, but she was also too weak. The killer threw her on the ground and began hitting her with the rifle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like Stasys, Bronnie died much earlier than the killer finished beating her. Satisfied, Aleksandras Gudkov looked around, grabbed a bottle of vodka from the kitchen table, and walked into the night, taking 2 lives with him because they couldn't show him the way home. He became the 6th person in the history of independent Lithuania to be sentenced to death. Gudkov's criminal past was not limited to this horrific crime. He had previously been convicted of attempted murder, but had avoided a harsher sentence. His earlier convictions seemed like a prophecy predicting that tragic events were yet to come. It should be noted that there is almost no information about Aleksandra's past, but from his behavior, it can be inferred that he had not achieved anything significant in his life and spent his days drowning in alcohol. Gudkov's life ended in front of a rifle on May 18, 1995, at the age of 39. He was convicted for the brutal murder of two elderly people, Stasys M., 81, and Bronė M. In court, Gudkov claimed that he had only stricken Stasys once and Bronė twice. However, forensic experts revealed a much darker truth. Stasys had 14 head wounds and Bronė had 9. The violence was far more brutal than Gudkov was willing to admit. This case was one of the last executions in Lithuania before the country abolished the death penalty. What do you think about this crime and the death penalty in general? A significant number of death penalty cases in Lithuania specifically targeted elderly people living alone. This partly shows how important communication and connections are, as many of these crimes might now be preventable by police or home security. We should be grateful that we now live in a safer world, but we should never forget these stories and their victims. Never forget Lithuania's shadows. Share your thoughts and thank you for watching. If you like this video, why not hit the like button or share this video with friends? Everything earns you karma points. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and I'll see you next